This is a game I played against a 1200 player, and I actually kind of won this game pretty easily. And you can see, although he was black, I kind of had the advantage from start to finish if you look at it that way. So, anyways, 45 knight f6, knight f3, knight c6, and what I really want to get to is this position. Okay, he's attacking my queen. Okay, that's nothing interesting. Queen g3, and I kind of played this because I was keeping an eye on this bishop. I had a feeling something was special about it. I don't know why. Maybe God sent me a message to my brain, and my brain was just like keeping away from me or whatever, something. He took, I took, and now right here I saw why I should be keeping an eye on this bishop, because I see that my bishop can take the knight. And then, and then there's no knight to defend this bishop, and then my queen can take the bishop. And I was like, okay, this is a 1200 player, he's gonna see it. But because I kind of believe God sent the message to my brain. He probably told the 1200 to play c5, and then I took the knight, and then I got the bishop. So he took, I took. I'm still having the idea that like, using this pin, I can get a quick checkmate, but apparently, after a couple more moves, he guarded h6 and f6, kind of. I mean, I guess if your piece is on the square, I guess you're guarding the square, technically. Like, I guess, like, my pawn is on a2, so technically my pawn is defending a2, but I don't know. But whatever I want to say. So, the thing is, you don't want to you get a tactic and then you keep like sticking to that tactic, because it doesn't always work out. I mean, rook d3, the point is not to go to h3 and target this pawn. The point was to double rooks on the d file, move my bishop out of the way, and then my two rooks will be double attacking the d6 pawn. And if you know what a backward pawn is, this is kind of a backward pawn, right? Because there are three properties for a backward pawn to beat a backward pawn. Number one, it must not be able to be guarded by another pawn. And sure enough, this pawn cannot be guarded by another pawn unless it gets to d4, and that's the second reason why it's a backward pawn. I mean, backward pawn, that means it stays back, because that means the pawn cannot advance. So that's rule number 2, and well, both rules apply to it, right? It cannot be guarded by another pawn. Sure, that's true, and it cannot advance because there's a bishop blocking its way. So, and rule number 3 is that it has to be on the half-open file. That means that this pawn would not be a backward pawn if this pawn, if the c3 pawn was on d3, not c3, and this pawn would not be a backward pawn because you couldn't be able to target it. I mean, you have to use your bishops and the knight to attack it, because like the pawn, your enemy pawn, you can't get past your own pawn. So like your rooks and queens can attack it, and then that won't be a backward pawn. And usually the square in front of a backward pawn is almost always an outpost, and sure enough, d5 is an outpost. So I'm targeting the backward pawns, which are especially weak. Okay, this is weird. Somehow my computer keeps doing this to me. Just like whenever I press a button, just logs me out. Whatever. Let's get back in. Where am I? Yeah, smooth. Goes to smooth. So anyways, b5, a3, just to prevent the b4 advance, but he pushed it anyways, so I don't know what that was for. Again, this a7 pawn is passed, so I'm bringing all my energy over to the a7 pawn. Rook a1. Note that I'm not afraid of any sort of rook move discovered attack here of the queen attacking the a1 rook, because the queen isn't exactly attacking the a1 rook if this rook, because the a1 rook has a defense. That's kind of why I like to have my rooks and knights and bishops all connected and pawns connected, because it kind of makes, like, when all your pieces are guarding each other, it makes like tactics a lot harder to happen. So that's why I'm kind of like, when I have the chance, I like to connect my two knights so that they defend each other. And That's why I always say you should connect your rooks at the beginning of the game so they're safer. But took my bishop. I guess he forgot my rook was on a4, so I guess he didn't want to sacrifice his queen. I think he saw it then. Also, kind of like this game. It's kind of like pinning. Technically, you're pinning the rook. I mean, you can, because pin. The definition of pin is that the piece you're pinning, it can't move. I mean, technically the rook can move sideways, but I guess it's sort of like a half pin, if you want to call it that, but whatever. At least I forced a trade of rooks, and that's all I care about because I'm ahead 6 points. So just to stabilize my pawn structure, because the e4 pawn is kind of a little loose. It's kind of like, okay, what am I supposed to do up here? And after a few more annoying checks, my king finally found shelter on h3, queen c3. I was kind of annoyed he played it because people are like, if you wanted to like target this pawn, guess I can't use the gamer pawn anymore. So it's okay. It even suggests this move, and let's just say he plays this move, made into queen f3 check. Just pretty easy, forced mate. Okay, I don't know why they want to play this move. I guess it's technically still a forced mate because you really can't do much to stop queen g8 checkmate. I mean, even if he tries to run, that won't work because there's not checkmate. So whatever. If you want to be fancy, you can play queen c8, but whatever. So I was kind of annoyed he played. It's kind of annoying he played the queen c. Sorry, but anyways, at least I gotta force the trade of queens, and the king is not even close to getting the pawn. So after this, it was just a matter of making sure this king couldn't escape down to e3, and then after this move, I guess he wanted to like take my h pawn and get some kind of counterplay. So fan alliances. This technically still wins, I guess, but it's a little slower. I'm just gonna do what the computer tells me to do. I think this, no. Okay, now it's a bit mate. He could go there, but after this, it's pretty much hopeless. So, whatever. Let's get back to the game. I just took, which was checkmate, and I forgot to mention this at the beginning of the video. I was playing somebody from China. I don't know that flag. Just click on it. Read. C-H-I-N-A, China. So, this guy's from China, and although I have an American flag, the United States flag, my parents just, they were from China. They immigrated to China, and so really, I had like Chinese blood from my parents, but I was American born, so I don't know if I'm more Chinese or more America. I don't usually want to think that. I just think of like I'm both. Like if these two have a war, I don't know. I'm not just gonna stand off to the side. I'm not gonna take sides. So it's like, oh yeah, no, I'm not precipitating. So really, it looks like it's United States versus China, but really, it's like, I don't know if, I mean, it would be weird if he was like a Chinese American. It would be weird if they were, if his parents were immigrants from America. That would be weird, and then it would, and because first I would know if it was China versus China or America versus America, but that probably wouldn't happen. So, anyways, looks like it's America versus China, but really it's still China versus China.